Alright, hey traders, TG Watkins here. Let me make sure that we got everything up and running. I think we should be good to go, both on the social medias, on Meta, so Facebook, and let's see what else we got, X, and YouTube. Plus, we got the Moxie Room. So yeah, should be pretty good to go in all those places. All right, so we are seeing quite the walk down in the S&P, the Nasdaq this morning. The IWM, not too bad. So it's going to be something else that we talk about because I think that is going to roll nicely into my presentation, my webinar that I have later tonight. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific, which would be 7 Central and 8 Eastern. Make sure you guys see the stuff. Sign up for that. It's free. As I said, this is a kind of update that I like because I'm finally starting to see some things, and I know it's tough to kind of almost believe this. Of course, we're gonna have to see it in time, but yeah, given what the market's doing, but I still see that the IWM is holding up pretty well. Anyway, some fun things that you guys might enjoy if you come over to my X page. I'm out here at my wife's family's cabin in the Pacific Northwest, and this was this morning. Now, some of you in the Moxie Room, you guys saw the picture I posted yesterday, pretty similar, but the water this morning was even smoother. Man, it's just amazing walking up, still kind of rubbing your eyes, a little bit groggy, and just walk out and you get just blasted with this. It's like, wow, that's just absolutely amazing, kind of stunning. And just, it's great. This is what we like to do. As far as being a trader, you take your laptop setup and you can go anywhere. And case in point, here's what my laptop setup looks like. So this is what I'm on. I just added this other screen on my right side. So now I have 3 screens on my portable one. Makes my bag a little bit heavier, but I think that because now I feel really pretty capable when I'm on the road. And then on the left side, you can see here, this is my drawing pad. This is how I am able to do all the stuff that I do. Speaking of which, I need to get my Camtasia running. Let me get that real quick right there. And then that way, when I get to the charts, I can write all over the place. Yep. And then got my computer and all that stuff, and then my mouse pad. That is our airplane. That is the Glacier 3 that we have, and my dad started building that with a shop back when I was in 1990. It was finished in 1992. I was 5 and then 7 when I finished. So I basically grew up in that airplane, and my buddy made a mouse pad out of it. So we did some flying photo shoots. So really fun. But yeah, just kind of a good time out here at the beach house and traveling around. You guys can do the same and take advantage of being traders on the go. The other thing that I want to bring your attention to is, so yes, the markets are down quite a bit today. S&P is just getting drilled this morning. I want to show you, this is something that I was posting to the subscribers, the traders in the Moxie Room, and I was saying, hey, I think that there's more downside. So let me show you these two, and let me get you the other one first, because if you look at the date code, this was yesterday, so the 23rd. This was 6:09 a.m. This is my pre-market. The pre-market. Yeah, my batteries, for some reason, I don't know what's going on with this. I keep reading it's like at 11% the whole time. Too much power. Anyway, so most of what I've been seeing. Oh, how's that? Is that audio better? Man, I forgot to have my boom mic down. So hopefully the rest of you in the Moxie Room has been able to hear me. Jabir, thanks for letting me know. Is that better now? But anyway, so what I wanted to show you guys is the date code. We have yesterday, 6:09 pre-market. This is what I'm seeing. And I said, yeah, the market's mostly sideways because, went down and then kind of bounced a little bit. And I said, if it continues to stay sideways and somewhat uninteresting, which was true over yesterday, then I would lean to the S&P being in the process of eroding the daily 21 and likely to move down in time. Of course, it's always hard to pick exact time, but I was like, yeah, I think we're going to go lower. And basically then I said, okay, the trend has been temporarily disrupted. So we need to see where the market wants to go in the near term. Yeah, thanks guys for letting me know about the audio. I always speak up in case there's something I can do about it. I never know how you guys are hearing it. So, and then yesterday, kind of mid-morning, I said, yeah, look at this, just giving you guys a play-by-play, SPX doing that 15-minute, 5250 maneuver. Those of you in the Moxie Room know what I'm talking about. And then, I said, now is the time that we see if these moving averages hold or don't hold. If they hold, great, price goes up, probably gets over the hourly 50, but then we'll have to be aware of resistance. But then down here I said, if it does not hold and price gets rejected by the hourly 50, then the market has more downside to it, or chop, and it's like more downside. All right, so that's where we're at. And if you guys want to see, I don't think I have too much. A little sneak peek into my webinar tonight. I'm going to be talking more about all this stuff. But then, yeah, let's kind of dive into this and show you. If we look at the SPY or the SPX, I always got to be a little gentle with the computer when I'm running this many things. It takes just a moment. I want to make sure I don't overload it. But if we look here, those things that I posted about yesterday are coming to fruition. So you can see here on the daily chart, we are breaking the daily 21. On the hourly chart, you can see, let me draw that a little bit better. On the hourly chart, you can see we ran right into the hourly 50 and broke down. And right here, yesterday, the market even closed below the 15-minute 50. And that was our confirmation that price was unlikely to move up and more likely to move down. And sure enough, we got that. Now, a lot of people could be pointing towards Google and Tesla for the reasons, and that's totally feasible. But baked into the cake, even before earnings and all that stuff, is what I spelled out with the Moxie subscribers and with the those alerts that I had yesterday. So if you guys want to play by play, even if I don't take every single trade that's possible in the market, I do a pretty good job of kind of telling you guys, the traders, where I think the market's going, what to do about it, and just then you can take that into your own account and what you need to do for your own positions. But yeah, we were spot on as far as this goes. And then the UVIX, this was also an area that we were expecting to move up. First a pullback and then a move up, and that is what we got. And this is what I've been communicating to the Moxie subscribers since then. And look at this, just a beautiful 50, 200, 50 maneuver right there. Just right to the dot. Right on, right on, right on. So yeah. And then if we look into here, I gotta show you guys on the 15-minute time frame, you can also see right here, there's a bit of an elf shoe. So elf shoe leading up into this. So you have a lot of stuff going on. Okay, then let's look at the IWM, because this thing still is amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now, it's hard to know exactly what to do with this, this far up, because, well, it's just so far up. And we took off 3/4 of our position last week right here, and it's practically right back at it. So, I had a feeling this thing was going to keep going up, but I didn't know it was going to really stay up like this. I'm still a little hesitant to want to add back right here, right now. I would like to see this thing go sideways a little bit more, but my goodness, compared to what the S&P is doing and what the Nasdaq is doing, this thing is just an absolute beast. I mean, sure, it's down, but that's just a pullback back into support. So, as I said, I want to give it a little bit more time to see if this is maybe going to get dragged down a little bit because of what's happening with the market and just because this is so high. But in another regard, you can look at XBI, you can look at KRE, and they are, I mean, even KRE, look at this thing, just continues to scream to the upside. And a lot of KRE is in the IWM, and like, don't deny this thing. So there definitely is some strength out there, and this is kind of what I've been talking about over the last, I don't know, few weeks. And we've been taking trades on it, doing well with it, enjoying it. And this is going to be part of what my webinar tonight is going to be about. So I want to make sure that you guys know about this. All right. Let's see, brighter side, you're looking at ENPH. Let's see. I haven't looked at this one in a second, but you think it's staying strong? Okay, yeah, I would, yeah, actually, nicely done, nicely done. Last time I saw it, it was kind of bopping around here. This would, so brighter side, thanks for kind of mentioning this. This kind of stock and these kind of things, this sector is going to be one of those names that falls into I think, the category of what I'm going to be talking about with tonight's webinar. I am seeing a rotation. I am seeing strength in areas that I don't think most people are looking around at. They're simply looking at the FANG stocks, the mega caps, the Mag 7, all these things and seeing that they are just getting drilled, which is true, along with the major indices, and they're probably like, oh my God, this market's going down. And I'm kind of building the other case. I think that the market overall and these mega caps, sure, are probably going to take a break and a breather. But then I'm seeing some areas of the market like this that I think are actually going to start waking up and doing well. Now, ENPH, maybe this is the start. It has been a challenging one because you can see it just hasn't been able to break out. But at the same time, it also hasn't broken down. So I think you are in this range here, and maybe someday it can break out. I think it would hopefully be sooner than later if this thing is in fact going to go the way that I think that the market's going to go. But if you are interested in something like ENPH, hey, it's after earnings, that's great. It's up on earnings, that's great. We're in a Moxie price trader, that's great. And here's the low of the channel. So if you at least wanted to get it on the low of the channel, I think that would also be great. It would be better than getting it at the top here. You don't want to do that. At least get it here so that if you're wrong less before you find out. Yes, the webinar tonight is going to be 5 o'clock Pacific. So just do your time zone math. That'll be 7 Central and then 8 Eastern, I believe. But 5 o'clock Pacific, which is the time zone I'm on, so I'm giving you that number. All right, and then we can also look at TAN as far as the solars. And again, this is why I'm having a hard time playing these specifically, but what you can see is that they've mostly stopped going down. And I'm wondering if we are starting to see that this might be something, okay? We're like, really, the whole point of the webinar that I'm trying to talk about is that we just saw some signals, what, 2 Thursdays ago? Because that's when CPI came out and that's when the IWM started to launch. And we were in before that. We got in before it. So I think that all of this is brand new. Like, it's what, a week, 2 weeks old? 2 weeks is basically the signal that we got. And you can see that this thing responded to that. TAN, which is the solar ETF, responded to that. Let's see, what day was that? I've got to get my dates memorized here. So the 11th. Yeah, so where was the 11th on this thing? Give me a second here. Let the computer do its thing. Come on. There we go. Okay, so yeah, right around here. Yep, so that's the thing. Even TAN responded to the 11th, the CPI situation. But since then, it still had to work its way through. So I think that we are really just at the beginning of these things moving. And so, again, I want to bring this to your guys' attention because we had a great time in 2020, and I'm starting to see inklings of that again. Okay. All right, let's look at VOD, brighter side. Let's see what this is about. I think we might have talked about this one before. Vodafone, yeah. Not something I personally would be interested in, but I see what you're looking at. It does look at least like it has started to turn to the upside. We are starting to see some progress. You look at these moving averages, sure, yeah, starting to see some progress. I personally think that there was more exciting, more interesting things to go after, but I do see what you're saying. That it does look to me like it has stopped going down. In fact, I could maybe see an inverse head and shoulders right in through there. So if that is something that you like, now would at least be the time, because I think these things are starting to work out that direction. All right, B1 OMCL. Look at that one. You mentioned it last week. Moving soon thereafter. Okay, and then IRDM. Yeah, nice. Big picture. Oops, let's see. Big picture that I'm looking at is, yeah, I think a lot of these things are done going down. Now the question is, can they start moving up? So kind of like what I said with Vodafone, I think here, yeah, look at that, done going down. We're getting the Moxie price trigger. If you think these things are going to go up, I think that this is the right area to say that they are done going down and likely to move up. The only thing I can push back on is that it does have earnings coming up. That's always a crapshoot, that's a binary event. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So if you guys like this, and B1, I'll give you this just in case. So this looks Omnicell. Do you know about SLDP? Are you aware of this ticker? Because this is one that we're looking at too. And I think you can make the reasonable assessment as to why we're looking at this. Yeah. Hello on the 11th. So July 11th is going to be certainly a day for us to remember because this is, I think, when we got the signal for a lot of things popping up. All right, and then IRDM. Boy, yeah. Look at these things. They've just gotten wrecked for so long, but you know what? I think that they are starting to turn. This one, B1, the ones you are mentioning, I think are still, as I said, I think that if you're going to go after these, I think this is at least the right area because you can see here. Oh yeah, get back to need a line, not a Fibonacci. And if you look at this, yeah, it looks like it's trying to do a double bottom. I would at least make the argument. I would at least make the argument that there are stocks that are a little bit more ripe, more developed than stuff like this. So you may not be wrong. I definitely want to say that because these double bottoms look pretty good and they do look like they're trying to hold. And, this could be, as I said, the cycle that they're starting to move up. And heck, you could even see IRDM up on earnings. It did pull back, but it did move up on earnings. But I think if we're going to be looking at stuff that is coming up off the bottom, I want to go after things that are just further along, more developed, more mature. It give already has the ability to really run to the upside if it wants to, as opposed to some of these that yes, they're probably done going down, but it's going to take them some time and some work to actually get going to the upside. So not terrible, but I think that there could be better. Of course, they'd be wrong about that, but I have the things that I'm looking at that I think are just more mature in their development. All right. Let's see. How about the US dollar? Isn't it giving signals like the UVIX? Jabir, I have a hard time really kind of lining that up and looking at the macro picture of that. I don't really know what to do or say about the dollar. I don't know the bigger ramifications. Like I understand generally what people say about the bigger ramifications of the dollar going up versus down, but right now I just kind of really see this going sideways. And I don't know. This is not my forte. I don't really have a strong thing to be able to say about it. So yeah, I just don't know what to say. The only thing I can point to is TLT or the TNX. And I think that they're starting to change directions. I think the TNX is going to start coming down. I think the TLT is going to start coming up, which means interest rates are going to be coming down. And I do think in the near term that that is going to be bullish for a certain sector of stocks. And I know a lot of people out there are saying that when the yield curve turns or when the interest rates start coming down and getting cut, that is going to be the end of the market. And it very well might be, but I'm also kind of leaning towards I think there might be a little bit of a honeymoon phase to where we get this nice little middle ground before, as interest rates getting cut and before the economy really implodes for whatever reason, because, a broken clock is right twice a day. I think that there's going to be a honeymoon phase, and that's kind of the direction that I'm going to be taking with this kind of stuff. All right. And then brighter side, gold as a triple top breakout. Okay, I was going to say I don't think there's a triple top. Yeah, I was like I don't think this thing is anywhere near being done. So yeah, I would look at this and it tried kind of popping out last week, kind of come back. It is a little up there, it's a little stretched. If it does need to take a breather, that's fine. But yeah, I kind of think this thing's on its way higher. Let's just, we don't know what kind of path, but I do think it's on its way higher. Same with silver. I think silver is going to be going higher. It's just a matter of how. And for now, it kind of took a little bit of a different step than I expected. And so I got stopped out because really from this point, I kind of thought it was going to keep going, but it dropped down here. I think it just basically said, hey, I'm not ready to go up right now. So I think this one's just a timing situation. All right. Yeah, Brighter said TLT has an interesting setup too. As I said, I think TLT is going to be moving up and TNX is coming down. So I see a larger, like monthly turn of trend. And I think we all know that because, well, the Fed has been saying interest rates higher for longer. Okay, yeah, we got that. But now I think the market is really sniffing out some changes in that. And I do think that basically the next thing that the market is expecting are interest rate cuts. And that's going to start to make a whole new vibe on the market and what we're going to be getting. All right. Uh, Raygod, as far as DocU, personally, I think this thing's toast. I see what you're seeing. Yes, it has stopped going down. Yeah, it has the potential to go up. But I'm kind of just, if I were to step back and just say, what do I know about the history of this stock? And I don't know, you could say Kathy Woods and, just the history of it. I just don't know. I don't know if DocuSign is really going to be able to do what it once did back in 2020. I think 2020 was perfect for DocuSign because, oh, hey, a digital signing company that you don't have to touch things or meet in person because COVID sounds perfect. That's why it went up the way it went up. But now it's like, okay, maybe it's a good business. They're making money, but I maybe it'll continue to grow a little bit, but I just don't think it's going to have kind of that wild move that it once had. Now, again, could be wrong. Look at Carvana. Carvana has been doing amazingly. We have traded it in the past, but we only caught snippets of it, and Carvana is now up over 1,300%. Yeah, 1,300% off its lows, and then some, which is absolutely amazing. So I didn't exactly see that coming from Carvana. The one thing I will point out is that look at the volume that came into Carvana on the lows. And this is another thing that I'm going to be talking to you guys extensively tonight in the webinar. We're going to go a little bit deeper on these things in some areas that I want to show you and say, hey, follow the big players. And clearly there were some big players in here. And I'm just not sure that I see that when it comes to DocuSign. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can still hear me because my computer looks like it's locked up for a moment. Anyway, I think that's pretty good for what I'm seeing in through here with the market. We know that the S&P is pretty much getting just trounced this morning. IWM is holding up well. A lot of the other small cap areas are holding up well. And so I'm viewing this as just a temporary situation, a temporary move. Of course, down moves are always just temporary. And so, the best side to be on is the long side. We just have to be patient. We have to time it properly. And then other than that, we just sit back and wait for the market to kind of just do its thing, especially when it's throwing a little hissy fit right now. Okay. So let's run it there. You guys have all the information and links for the webinar tonight. It'll be 5 o'clock Pacific, so 7 o'clock Central. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been working on this presentation for a little while since everything I've been seeing finally came to fruition. I was like, okay, now I really got something I want to talk about. So come on in. It'll be a great time, and we'll see you guys there. Okay, take care. Catch you in a little while.